Be a slave to yourself. The first time I heard this concept, I was watching a video by Teaching Men's Fashion on how to become a millionaire. He talked about in that book, on that video, of how you need to get 2 jobs and you need to spend all of your time, your extra time working on your side hustle, or your side hustle, while instead of going out drinking, smoking, etc. You have to be a slave to yourself. You have to work for yourself. You don't have to, but I would highly recommend it. This is how you do it. You have to escape the way that you're brought up. Escape the way that you're taught. Escape this. If you truly want to be successful, you got to be a slave to yourself. What this means is that you should be working from the time that you wake up until the time that you go to sleep without wasting any time. I'm constantly auditing myself every single day about where my time's going, what I'm wasting it on, where I can improve every single day. This is where an environment is extremely important. Your environment matters so much. You have to eliminate distractions, and you have to surround yourself with the right environment and the right success. If you can do this, you can be a slave to yourself and you can work for yourself consistently. I will give you an example. Right now, I'm about to drive to go do some boxing and get some training in. I will listen to, it's in about a 41 minute drive. I will listen to educational content that entire drive. That's a prime example. And then that's considered work. And then for boxing, I will literally work for an hour, training, learning how to box. Everything is work. You have to, this is what I'm talking about. You have to construct your life through work. Now, let me give you another example. I will give you another example. Right now, I'm free. I have nothing. I don't have either of my jobs. I have 2 jobs. I have none of my jobs the rest of the night. But I'll give you an example of what the average person would do. The average person right now, they wouldn't have worked out today. They would not eat the right foods every single day, like I'm doing. They would not work on a side hustle or work on something outside of their job, which I'm doing right now with this YouTube video. They would not work on going to boxing, learning how to box, consistently learning how to grow. They wouldn't do that. What they would be doing is doing these fun activities. Today, if I was someone else who wasn't as motivated as myself, I would be smoking weed. I'd be drinking tonight. I would be, by the way, I have 3 days off from my second job in the nights in a row. Most people, they would use this time by weed, by drinking, by hanging out with loser friends, they would just waste this time. For example, when I would drive to my boxing, they would listen to music the entire time. They wouldn't learn. You have to take the details to the extreme extent. This is a prime example of what I'm explaining right now is being a slave to yourself, is literally working and finding as much work as you can do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And if you can find as much work as you can do in that time, number one, you're going to be proud of yourself at the end of the day because you didn't jerk off, you didn't waste time, you didn't drink alcohol, smoke weed. Number two, you're going to leave somewhat of a legacy on this planet. You're not just going to continue just to live, just to exist. I was listening to Andrew Tate, and what he's saying is if you're just smoking weed, drinking all this time, no one knows who you are, no one cares about you, and you live a life of obscurity. Mike Tyson talks about this. He says he never wanted to live a life of obscurity, and obviously you know who Mike Tyson is right now. This is literally what he said. He said, I never wanted to live a life of obscurity. I wanted to be something. That's what Mike Tyson said. Same goes true for myself. I want to be somebody. You have to be somebody. You have to want to be somebody. You have to want to go out there and show who you are to this world, or else nobody will care about you. Because the reality is that no one does care about you. You have to realize the simple fact that no one thinks about you besides you. You are the only person who thinks about you. No one else thinks about you. No one else. Nobody else. If you watch Andrew Tate's video on being successful, that's the tenet is number 3, is that no one's going to motivate you and no one's going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. That's the third tenet he talks about in There's 4 of them, by the way, in becoming successful. It's one of the most viral videos. He talks about how to be successful. Number 1 is believe in yourself. Number 2 is get pissed off. Number 3 is what I was just talking about. And number 4 is, I cannot remember 4 off the top of my head. But I've watched that video multiple times, and I've written it down I've constantly, I'm just constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly doing things. This is how you have to live your life if you want to be successful. You have to be a slave for yourself if you want something more for your life. If you don't want something more for your life, then you can continue to waste time smoking weed, drinking alcohol, and just blowing your time away, not being constrained about where your time is actually going on a day-to-day life. Be a slave to yourself. That's the video I have for you. If you like this video, like the video, comment, share, subscribe. See you in the next one.